you guys seem to really be liking these conceptual boxing videos where I'm only showing my torso. Don't forget to check out all the great stuff on my channel where you see my full body and I'm actually demonstrating boxing and Muay Thai. But you know, I got really good feedback on the how to counter punch and counter punching explained video, and I knew for the longest time I wanted to make a good video about combination punching, and I think now's the time. So the best way to understand combination punching is that it's whenever you throw punches in combination with each other to create a sequence and throw punches at your opponent in such a way that it overwhelms them or creates opportunities and openings that weren't there before. Here you see me working the wall bag with my combinations. Now understand, sort of like I said in my counterpunching video, a lot of times when people box or fight, it's two guys in open space, whether it's the ring or octagon, and when they meet, they exchange. One guy initiates, one guy responds, they might go at the same time, or one guy might initiate, the other responds, and the first guy responds to the response, and it's kind of like a back and forth. But understand that a lot of times, like I always say, when it's a righty versus righty situation, let's say, which they call closed stance, open stance would be a righty versus a southpaw, right? It's that the jab is often the punch people lead off with because the left hand is the closest hand to the opponent. Now, you don't only have to lead off with just a jab. You could lead off with a long left hook. I mean, you can even just feint the left or even just lead off with a straight right. I'm not going to say that people only lead off with the jab. But first I want to start with the jab because most combinations will typically start with the jab because for the reasons I just said. It's the closest punch to the opponent. It gets your hips starting to turn and it initiates the other offense. But here's the thing. Because the jab is the most common punch that people will initiate offense with, it's also the punch that most people have some kind of built-in game plan for how to counter and defend, and also trying to get your timing constantly and trying to figure out your jab, how they can stop your jab and counter your jab. So understand that right off the bat, even if you had the best jab ever, everything's very tight, you know, it's very fast, it's very good. It's in nature, as you get to a certain point, a very predictable punch. If all you did with no feints, no setups, no head movement, no directional feints, you just walked around the opponent and you just jabbed, it's almost an invitation for them to counter you because it's so, I guess you could say like monotonous. The thing is, you can always mix it up. You can always feint and then jab. You can double jab, you know, and there's different versions of the double jab. There's a double jab where you jab and then send it out while the hand's still out, or you can keep them both chambered and have them both come from here. Or you can feint high, go low. You can just, with your head off center, lead off with the body jab. You know, you can feint low, come high. There's ways to diversify that initial jab to start your combination. So that's the first thing. Don't always just start a combination with a jab. Find like a few different ways to kind of start yourself off so that you're not always just starting the same way. So now the follow-ups. A lot of times, once I do something like that, I can come right away with my power side. So for instance, right there, I, feinted to the head, jab to the body, come up with the right cross. Or what you can do is you can come with some series of what they call throwaway punches where you're gonna work your hands a little bit quick and it's gonna set up one shot that might have a little more steam on it, which they call like the exclamation point. So for example, I can go jab to initiate, cross, left hook, and then throw like a big cross. So it looks something like this. Right? So the first three were like throwaway punches. And then the last has more like steam on it. Now the reason you structure a combination like that, like jab, initiate, throwaway punches, exclamation point, is because if everything you threw had the same cadence and power, it would be much more predictable, and also there'd be too much time interval in between your punches for your opponent to either just disengage or to counter you. So for example, if you were gonna throw 3 punches, jab, cross, left hook, you may not necessarily want to throw it so textbook. You may want to sort of pop them off quick. And then I can do something like come with an uppercut. So the classic 1, 2, 3, 4. When we're learning these punches, it's good to engage our hips to get the full rotation. But in practicality, the first 3 might be a throwaway and the uppercut may be quick. So like this, okay? So you can use that structure. Initiate, throwaway punches, and then an exclamation point or even multiple exclamation points. So what I could do is I could do that, power, and then power, okay? So that's the way to like structure your combinations. So they're not just these robotic things. You want it to be more like flowy, like double jab, throwaway punches, power, okay? That sort of thing. But also, you know, you always hear the term headhunter. You also want to look to go to the body. So to sort of keep diversifying our offense here, we could do is, let's say we were gonna go jab, cross, left hook, cross. If we wanna make that more intricate and sort of hard for the opponent to defend, we can look to go jab to the head, cross to the body, left hook to the head, cross to the head, right? So I threw in the body shot as like a curveball. So instead of just here, now you gotta deal with it here, right? But I could also keep it going. What I could do is, if you noticed, see, I went left, right. I can also double up on the same side. So I can do something like this. Jab, right cross to the body, left hook to the head, left hook to the body. So you see now how I'm mixing up these couple things. I'm changing my tempo mid-combo. I'm changing the level, whether I'm going to the head or to the body, but I'm also doubling up on the same side. And when you double up on the same side, you see, if I'm already at the point of my combination where I'm throwing my exclamation points, I can reload and come with power, right? But if I'm sort of still on my throwaway punch part of my combination, I can not reload my hips and sort of just make them a little faster. See, I went jab, long left hook, cross. I wouldn't want to sit there and get in front of you and go like this. Full reload. Those are exclamation points that would normally be at like the end. This is still the throwaway punches. So I'm just coming with that 1, 3. And then the cross is the cleanup. So it's like this. Okay? And then if I wanted to stick one more, let's say left uppercut on that, it would be something like this. 2 fast and 2 power. Okay? So the first 2 are throwaways, the second 2 are power. So these are just examples. I could keep going with it. Let's say we wanted another combination to have those different components, which are, like I said, being diverse in how we initiate, not just jabbing. So we'll come with the double jab. Maybe go to the body. So we'll come with the body cross, but reloading the same side. So after the body cross, we'll come with the right uppercut. So it'd be something like this. Jab, jab, right body cross, reload, right uppercut. And then I can stick the left hook behind that. So this is how you sort of want to approach an opponent to create chaos. And usually when you're throwing combinations, there's a lot of footwork involved, there's head movement, there's a lot of different ways to attack. This is just being very general of just, I'm in front of you, you're in front of me, very like basic boxing, almost like a Mexican Dutch style kickboxing, like sort of very basic approach. But we're basically, instead of just throwing the same basic sort of things everyone does, we're trying to really create chaos by just changing everything up. See, it's like I'm mixing the same side. I'm changing levels. I'm speeding up with my throwaways, then I'm coming with power. So those are the different ways you just make your combinations a lot more hard to predict. And also that way you're not always throwing the same thing. So your opponent, not only in the moment are they a little bit flustered, but as the sparring goes on or the fight goes on, they're not picking up on every little thing you do because you're always sort of changing it up. So instead of me always just being like jab, 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 cross, jab, cross, left hook. It's like, I'm more like this. Jab, jab. Feint jab, jab to the body. Now I'm gonna step in. Jab, cross, and I'm mixing it up.